Cool.
Hey everybody, it's Mr. P. I am here with Kenny Thompson and Dan Maier. We've got two special guests, two former graduates from Pittman High School. How's it going, boys?
Going pretty good.
Pretty well out here.
Bored.
That's great. That's great. I told you before we were going to start, I got to cut you off because I look so weird. I look like Jambi from Pee-wee's Playhouse. Did you ever watch that show on Saturday morning?
I don't think I did.
Mecca licka high, Mecca hiney ho, right?
What
Before
is
your time.
Before your time.
It was a Saturday morning show. They used to show cartoons on Saturday.
I was probably sleeping through it.
What?
I was probably sleeping through it.
Probably. Well, it might be before your time. But Mr. Giorgetti gave me a green screen. It's actually blue. It's called a web around. And he said, try it out. You could put any background you want on it. So I actually chose one of Kenny's doing some photography right now. We'll get to that. This is one of your photographs. I actually went up into my closet and busted out my old Fordham Rams hat in honor of your
Nice.
subject matter. Right?
Nice.
This is from where you guys are right now because you're out in Colorado, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You're at the University of Colorado at Colorado Springs.
There you go.
I got it right.
Sister school to Boulder.
That's right. Okay. We're going to cover it all because I think you guys reached out to me about, talking to students and maybe giving the perspective of a recent graduate in light of everything that's going on with coronavirus. And I think you guys have some good stuff to say. Unfortunately, we're going to have to start with a relatively trivial question, which is, what did you have for dinner last night?
Do you really want to?
Yes. What do you think? I'm making it up?
No.
I think I had beef.
And don't tell me ramen noodles. You two look like you've been surviving off ramen noodles for about a year.
Well,
last night we didn't have anything special for dinner, but me and Kenny have been going to the store every once in a while.
Yeah.
We buy some steaks and then we marinate them and cook them on the grill.
yeah, we did.
You're pulling my chain. Steaks?
Oh, we definitely do. We do.
Yeah.
Me
All
and
right.
Kenny split it. We do it like
I was thinking ramen noodles,
That wasn't
some mac and cheese,
Last night,
fish, so.
yeah.
tuna, peanut butter and crackers.
Tuna fish. I ate ramen noodles and beef jerky.
It's
Like out of Animal House.
You gotta have the best of both worlds.
Right. You got to have the mixture.
Yeah.
So we have a lot to cover. All right. And I want to start, I know we're in coronavirus, but I want to just start with your high school days for a second and how you got from walking off Davis Field at graduation to where you are now. So could you just take us to your journey? You're out in Boulder, you said, Dan?
We're in Colorado Springs.
Colorado Springs. I'm sorry. Colorado Springs. And so how did you get from Pittman to Colorado Springs, Colorado?
So when I was very young, I lived in Colorado for about 4 or 5 years, from 2003 to like 2008 or 9.
Mhm.
And then I came to Pittman, where my mom's hometown is in Woodbury. So we settled in Pittman, and I started in Pittman in 3rd grade, and then visited Colorado a few times throughout the years. And then when it came time to start applying for schools, I took one more trip out here to look at some schools, maybe just see if I could do it, see if I could actually go to Colorado. But I was also looking at Widener, Arcadia, and then I got to UCCS, and I just fell in love with the place right away. So once that acceptance letter came, I decided right then and there, I was like, that's it. Not waiting for anything else. I'm going.
That's
so
great.
that's the next step.
Do you have family out there, Dan?
No family.
Okay. Well, what's your major?
My major is business marketing right now.
Business marketing. Okay. And then, so it sounds like, and I know the answer to this, but you went out there first before Kenny did, right?
That's right.
And so, Kenny, how did you join up with Dan?
I guess it was June of 2019.
You guys are the class of 18, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So my spring semester of my freshman year of college, I went to what is it now? RCSJ now, or
Yeah, it changes weekly.
yeah,
Yeah, I can't keep up with it.
Yeah. But anyway, in the spring, Danny and I were talking. He's like, "Man, you got to come out here, check it out. Like, just go on a vacation." And I was like, "Yeah, why not? Let's do it." Went out there with Brett, Thompson, and Seth, Martin. 4 of us went out for a week, and then Danny and I had been talking for a while just about a lot of just stuff. And I was kind of like in a little rut in my life. Just kind of like, I don't really know what I want to do. I don't know. I'm kind of at a standstill right now.
Right.
And then he was like, hey man, like we're looking for a 5th roommate. My roommates now, back then they were like, yeah, like you're cool, like let's go. And then within a month, just kind of sat down.
He said you're cool?
Yeah, I'm cool. So that's all it took, right?
That's all it took, right?
Little compliment.
You guys tell me I'm cool. I'm out in Colorado next week.
Hey,
well, yeah, hang with the bighorns right now.
That's right. So
for my side of the story, from Kenny moving out here, they came out for a couple days a week, and what happened was we had a 5th roommate who backed out of the lease last second. I think a couple days before June 1st when he was supposed to move in. Right. So we had a vacant room down here in Kenny's room now. And when they came out, I showed them everything, went up to Pikes Peak, Garden of the Gods, where that picture of the bighorn is taken.
These pictures are beautiful.
It's amazing.
Yeah, the scenery is beautiful.
Me and Kenny went for a drive one night, and then we kind of just talked because, like you said, he was in a rut. He was in just at a low point. Wanted to figure out something new.
A fresh start.
And I was like, would you ever consider moving out here? And then he thought about it. It was a thought in the back of his head. But then after he left, we talked every day for about 3 weeks on FaceTime.
We would wake up, and then, I don't know, I would run through like 3 pots of coffee.
Yeah, so we would just talk, and I'd work.
That's great.
So I worked virtually. But
so you made the jump, Kenny, right?
Yeah.
And you're enrolled at school too?
Yep.
And what's your major?
Right now it's business marketing, advertising. I have a couple internships that I'm waiting on, so my major is kind of up in the air right now, whether I want to keep going business or if I want to swap to visual arts, depending on.
You guys are just finishing your sophomore year, right? And we talked off camera, but you're currently living in a house. You have roommates, right? You're making a go of it.
Yeah.
I want to talk about how school is going for you in light of coronavirus. So could you tell anybody that's watching, what's it like being in college during this pandemic?
I would say it was kind of tough. The transition is definitely tough. I guess it depends on the person. Some people can do online classes and some can't. Yeah. But a lot of these classes, especially for like nursing majors and stuff like that, they have to do labs and those kind of majors in the sciences. And having to switch online for those guys is not easy. You have to buy another like virtual lab kit to do your labs on. For us, it was kind of difficult because they did it right before spring break. So it was hard kind of jumping back into the school mindset and put your nose to the grindstone because you're not going back to school when spring break is over.
Yeah.
You're online.
Yeah. And I would say probably for a good stretch of the first part of quarantine, we had a lot of friends moving out of dorms, out of apartments. So I think I ran up and back to the airport probably 3 or 4 different times.
To drop friends or classmates off and get them home?
Get people where they needed to be. I mean, definitely kind of like a meteor.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like, I don't really know how to explain it, but we have kind of sat around and just talked, and we're like, we just kind of got thrown into this pretty fast.
Yeah.
And it's hard to figure something out and have a game plan of what you're going to do with not just school, but just life in general, because no one knew what was going to happen. We're getting new updates every day, every week, right? Quarantine.
Right. What's your mindset now with, under the circumstances? Not only are you connected, you're disconnected from your classmates at school, but you're disconnected from your family geographically, and your friends back home. Do you think that's made it more difficult for you, or is it easier because, hey, you're forced to make a go of things on your own and take care of yourselves, or what?
I think it's made it a little easier with like the whole nation's under quarantine and stuff. So it's actually given us a lot of time to kind of reconnect with people from back home. Like I've been talking to Tate and Cam. Been on FaceTime back and forth with Rocky a couple times, and it's just cool to kind of be able to have the time to be like, hey, what's going on in your life? Haven't seen you in forever.
That's so funny, because I don't mean to cut you off, but I found that other students are saying that too, that in a ironic twist, we're home and we are disconnected, but it's also slowed things down enough that maybe we're connecting in different ways, or reconnecting to things that have kind of gone by the wayside. I mean, even in my own family, we're eating dinner around the table, we're playing board games, life has slowed down to the point where we can kind of re-embrace some of the things that kind of got lost in the hecticness of life prior to this.
Trying to think, you know.
That's crazy.
What I was just gonna ask.
I have that tendency, Kenny. You know that.
But
if you've lost your train of thought, I'll just keep going. You just raise your hand and you just let me know when you're ready to jump back in.
I'll figure it out.
Going back to your question about reconnecting with families and stuff like that. So it's coming up on we're coming up at the end of the semester here for us. It ends May 15th, 16th.
So Friday.
Yeah,
or Saturday, whatever it is.
So a lot of people are going home that are have a house here, an apartment here. You know, they're going home to visit their families. But for us, you know, back in South Jersey, Philly, like New York area, it's pretty bad. So we decided to kind of stay here. But now you have time to think like, okay, well, semester's over. I'm used to going home and seeing my family. You know, catching up.
Under normal circumstances, would you be going home?
A normal circumstance, yes, yeah.
But you're not going to now.
No, because he was planning on going back for Ashley's
graduation.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And,
Kenny's younger sister, for those watching, is Ashley. She's a senior at Pittman this year, and she would have graduated. Shout out, Ashley. I'm waiting for my email, girl. Let's do one of these. Huh? I'm banking on you to make that connection when this is over, Kenny.
I will try my best.
Yeah, but now we're kind of just staying put and seeing what happens. So it's a little weird, you know, that we're not going to be going back home. And a lot of our roommates are leaving. So, next week it's just going to be me and Kenny here.
Yeah.
For like 4 days. So a lot of good, a lot of bad. Who knows?
You're going to have to make a go of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, also too, with everything going on, I mean, we had our hot water heater just peace out.
It broke. It rusted out the bottom.
That was like oh crap, I'm a homeowner. I need to take care of this now.
Yeah. And
you could listen, there was a day in my time in my life where I had to boil water on the stove to get hot water.
That's what we were doing.
Yeah. I gotta wash this hair.
Yeah.
So I was really worried because calling a plumber during coronavirus was like, I wonder if you guys are essential workers. You know, these are the first thoughts in my head.
Right.
See the water all over the floor and my water heater broken.
I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think you'll find that when you get older, you'll look back and say that this experience forced you to grow up in a good way. You have to figure it out.
It made me grow up when they installed the water heater and it was broken when they installed it, the new one.
Yes.
And then we had to return it. We had to return the water heater we bought and get a new one.
Yeah.
Pay for another installation, but it was a lot cheaper. It was a manufacturing problem with the water heater.
Gotcha.
But,
listen, as long as we're on the subject, before we move on to other things, I'd like to ask you about, you know, let's put coronavirus aside for a second. School, and you guys are the first college level students now that I'm talking to that have graduated. How would you say, you know, Pittman prepared you for moving on? What's you know, maybe good and bad?
Good. Shout out to Senorita and Madame for getting me into student council and all that stuff. Definitely really shaped like my leadership style. Also like just kind of made it easier just meeting people and making friends. Like I moved out here in a month and didn't know anybody but Danny, his girlfriend Cass, and my one roommate CJ. Like that was it. So I was kind of like nervous, just kind of going out and just starting completely new. But yeah, that definitely made it easier. I don't know.
A lot of people that I'm interviewing are saying that they one of the questions that I ask them is what makes Pittman High School so special? And almost every single student says it's small. There's a family aspect to it. There's a connectedness. But does that translate when you have to leave Pittman and move to the other side of the country?
Here's the thing. So I agree with that. You know, what the students are saying, that has the family aspect because it's small. Everyone knows everybody. You can get help from any of the teachers. You know, it's a very helpful school. But coming out here, the reason why I decided on UCCS is because it felt like a family. It wasn't too big like Boulder, and it wasn't too small or back home. I kind of wanted something different since I had been in New Jersey since third grade.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what, if I do a year and I don't like it, I can come back. But the vibe I got here was like, okay, these people are willing to help you. They have writing centers and math centers, and they they really look after the kids, and it's not just huge lecture halls of a couple hundred kids. And yeah, if you pass, you pass. If you don't, oh well. They really want to help you succeed. So I think that was something that drew me to UCCS here. But I mean, there was good and bad on both sides. I think I needed to get out of South Jersey and just kind of be on my own. After high school, it was I wasn't a terrible student. I got B's and C's, so I wasn't the best. But I kind of just wanted to get away,
Right. Start over. It's a new chapter.
Yeah. It was a new chapter. So I saw that a decent amount of people were staying home, going to RCGC. And, I recommend that, honestly, getting your electives out of the way at community college and then going, away to school. But I have to say that going away was definitely the best thing that ever happened.
That's great. No, I'm happy for you. It seems like you guys are doing well.
I mean, from my perspective too, I would say don't be afraid to leave, but also it comes down to, are you ready for this? Because I mean, there's people that go somewhere and think they're going to do something and then they get really homesick.
Yeah.
So it really comes down to, are you still
They've almost got one foot in the, they haven't fully embraced it. Yeah.
Yeah. My internet connection is unstable. Okay.
Sorry. It's okay.
Yeah,
I got you. And you might freeze for a second, but I can hear you fine. When you guys think back to Pittman or Pittman High School, what's one thing that you really miss?
Oh, I missed that. I missed that part. What
do you miss about Pittman or Pittman High School? Is there something that sticks out when whenever you do feel those, pangs of being homesick? Assuming that happens at all.
I miss diving a lot.
Diving?
Diving.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I pushed myself more junior and senior year. I think I beat the school record sophomore year. I went to states a couple years. But, by the end, I was kind of done. I guess I, kind of got a full head, and I was like, all right, I'm going to Colorado. I don't really want to go to states. I still went to states senior year, but I didn't really try to push to beat that school record again.
Senioritis starts to set in.
It was senioritis. That's what it was, and it happened with everything. And shout out to Mr. Tender, Bob Tender. Amazing coach, and I had a lot of good years diving. And same with Mr. Newcomb. Mr. Newcomb was also great.
Oh, that's nice.
A lot of fun with those guys. But yeah, sometimes I look back and I wish I pushed myself harder and try to excel a little bit more before it ended, because now I can't dive anymore because UCCS doesn't have a dive team.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but
I talked to a couple students on the football team this year. The football team had a kind of like a good year, and it was really, there was a buzz about it again. And I remember talking to a couple of the seniors, and they said how difficult it would be to take that uniform off for the last time, because they knew that there was no way they were maybe big enough or fast enough or whatever at this stage to play in college. But at a little tiny school like Pittman, they started and, had success.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must be tough, especially when it's a team sport like that too,
Yeah. It's and it's just funny because in Pittman, there's such a, there's an aspect where when something's going well, the whole town rallies around it, there's an electricity about it, and then the football team had that this year. So, it's interesting. Anyway,
really cool.
Is there any advice you would give to seniors graduating this year as they get ready to move on to the next chapter of their lives?
Yeah, same. So,
if you're a senior about to graduate, and it must be terrible because your senior year got cut short, and you missed all the fun things. Like, I'm sure they missed prom, right? Prom and
senior trip was canceled.
Everything, and that sucks. But don't think it's the end of the world. And if you're thinking about going away to school, but you're not sure, I would recommend going away. Give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? You transfer after a semester and you come to a different school. It's no big deal. But what you take and like what I learned in the first couple of weeks of being on my own after, you know, my parents left, and I was like, okay, I'm in my dorm, I'm all alone, and now what do I do? Right?
Yeah.
That's your first thought. What do I do? But you really learn a lot about yourself, and then you really start to have to mature. You know, right? You're forced to mature.
Yeah.
And you have to, you know, get a schedule going. You gotta, you know, the food hall has times where you gotta eat and stuff like that. You gotta plan your classes around it. So it's very interesting. So even if you did a semester away and you didn't like it, I guarantee you'll still take a lot away from that.
You're learning things, so many things outside of the classroom by having to deal with your hot water heater and living on your own and getting yourself up. That students don't, not all students get to experience that right away like you guys are.
It's also like, I mean, you can have, I mean, yeah, you learn so much real world stuff, like just the culture shock out here. Nothing is open 24-hour. Everything closes by 10 o'clock, and you're like, okay, wow.
They don't have that. They don't have the 7-Eleven on Broadway.
They got 7-Elevens.
Yeah,
they got 7. We actually
have all the Wawas.
No
Wawas. Please don't bring.
No Wawas.
No Wawa.
No. Yeah, it's hard.
I don't think half the seniors would be able to eat without a Wawa. They
They
wouldn't know what to do.
They don't even have like a good like hoagie place. They don't have cheesesteaks. They don't have cheesesteaks.
Food is very taboo out here. It's
Well,
very,
think about it. We're landlocked. We're landlocked. So anything regarding like fish, seafood, sushi, it's not a good thing to get out here. You don't want to go. That's not your first choice.
Unless it's like fresh caught in the mountains, then
unless it's trout, and then
you're golden.
By the way, did you guys ever ask me what I had for dinner?
What did you have for dinner? What did you have?
I mean, I wasn't sure if it was going to come up. I figured I would get it in before we.
What are you gonna say? Wawa cheesesteak and some sushi?
No, Dan, no. I had, what did I have? Hold on, tortellini with sausage.
Nice.
There you go.
And like an Italian roll. It's very good. I made it.
Really good.
I didn't make the tortellini; they came frozen. I also didn't make the sausage. Basically, I heated stuff up. It was very good.
Me and Kenny are splitting a rotisserie chicken and having lobster ravioli from Costco.
Nice.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys are eating well. I can't get over it.
It comes and goes.
Hey, it's every other day.
This is your opportunity. If your parents are watching, you should tell them, I'm starving. I'm barely getting by. Send money.
I'm not. That one's not gonna fly.
Not gonna fly. Okay.
Send me a bunch of pretzels from the Amish or something.
The soft, Philly soft pretzels.
No, it wasn't Philly soft pretzels. They're hard pretzels. I think.
I know what you're. Yep.
It's like a bag of them. It was like a 5-pound bag, so we've all been running through those. But some days we eat like kings out here, and then the next day we eat like peasants. It's kind of fun.
What do you miss about Pittman, the town?
I miss the hustle and bustle of the East Coast.
Yeah.
It's not.
But see, a lot of people would say they moved out there to get away from that. You must also enjoy the slower pace.
Yes and no. On the road, absolutely not.
And then when I'm trying to get my coffee at Starbucks and they ask me what I'm doing today, I'm like, all right.
I don't have time for this nonsense.
If you go to any coffee place and you're doing a drive-through and there's like 3-4 cars in front of you, you're not getting it for 15, 20 minutes. Because they will have a conversation. Not saying that it's a bad thing, but when I got to go to work.
They're just too dang friendly. That's what it's telling you. They're too friendly.
It's refreshing, and it's also it's a blessing and a curse at times.
Very diplomatic of you, Kenny.
Definitely
that's the best way to put it right there. That's another thing with seniors who are planning on going to college, maybe away. You're still deciding. I really recommend going away because anywhere else you go outside the state, outside the tri-state area, you're gonna have a culture shock no matter what. Things are different all over the country.
Yeah, but sometimes that culture shock is good because it makes you appreciate where you've come from.
It helps you grow. And like, do I like this, or do I like the people back home? Do I want to try a different area? It really opens up your mind.
Yeah, you get a good grasp of who you are as a person, because when you're out on your own, your decision is your decision, and you're gonna learn from it one way or another, good, bad, ugly. Like, you don't have any of your friends pressuring you or anything like that. Like, when it's just you, it's you yourself and you.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you get to kind of know what your self-worth is, right? You have only you to rely on.
Yeah,
that's great. You guys are giving little nuggets to the senior class without even realizing it. You know that, right?
It's just growing up.
I hope they're watching.
Pretty cool.
I think my biggest piece of advice for them, and I think when you go to college, whether you go away or not, you have to get out. You have to make friends right away. I mean, and the thing
You
is,
have to put yourself out there.
you put yourself out there, and don't be afraid about it either, because no matter who you are, like whether you might have thought you were not popular or you were popular in high school, this stuff doesn't matter. All that crap is irrelevant in college, because you find your group, you find people that are similar to your interests. You don't want to stay in your dorm and be a dorm rat the first couple like months of school, because then you're never going to get out.
Yeah. The beautiful part is, like, when you're in that move-in week or your first couple weeks, everybody is on the same exact playing field. So just be yourself, and you know what? You're gonna learn one way or another, whether that person is somebody you want in your life or not.
This is something interesting.
It's just a trial and error. It really is.
My 3 roommates I have now, it was the first week of college, and it was like 10 o'clock at night, and I was like, I want to do something. I don't want to be stuck in the dorm. I was excited about college. All right, what are we doing? Because usually they have the freshman week where you're allowed to do events, and like you go to them and they kind of just help you mingle with people. It's almost like forced. You grab like a card and you get in a circle, and like it's really interesting. But so I went out at like 10 o'clock and I went to the volleyball field across campus, and I was like, I don't know who's there. I don't know what's going on, but I kind of just want to go outside, maybe play some volleyball or do something. So there's a volleyball game going on, and I just hopped right in the game. And then right in front of me is my roommate now, CJ. So I met them, and that was it. So I decided to stay in my dorm that night. Who knows? I still probably met them, but like, who knows where I'd be or what roommates I would have. It's always a decision. I said, you know what? I want to meet people. I want to make some friends. I want to go outside. And then I met my 3 roommates. And
good for you, Dan. That's great.
We're not saying go out and be reckless and make bad decisions, but go out and just see what it has to offer.
I think going away to college is one of those times where by going far away, like we've said, you force yourself to be in a position to grow. And I don't mean to bring it back to coronavirus, but as I'm talking to students, I'm finding that, and staff, a lot of them are doing things that they might not otherwise do. They're painting, they're crocheting, they're learning an instrument, they're learning new languages. And it's a shame, I hate to say that, but it's a shame that we had to be put in, or this thing had to happen for those things to take place. But it is a lesson for everyone to, sometimes, your security net, your safety net holds you back. And when that's not there anymore and you're forced to make a go of it, you're forced to get by, you have to cook for yourself, you have to get yourself to class, and nobody's watching over you, you grow. So listen, before I let you go, I just want to touch base with each of you regarding future plans and things like that. Kenny, I just wanted to start with you because I know you're really into photography, and you're posting. I know, I'm sorry that maybe I'm like the worst part of this frame.
No, you are in the perfect composition right now.
Right, the rule of thirds, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, tell us about this specific photo. Where was it, and how does this play into any future plans? We're friends on Facebook, so I have an idea of what you're up to with regards to that. But maybe people are watching, saying, "Hey, what's this RAM all about?"
Yeah, absolutely. So when I came out here in June to visit Danny, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, wildlife. I love just shooting it. It's amazing. And bighorn sheep was like number 1 on my list, because like whenever I think of Colorado, I immediately think of that. So it was about a couple weeks ago when I was just sitting around bored, and I was like, you know what? It's about 5:30, sun sets in like 2 hours. I can get either some cool landscape shots, or maybe there's deer out grazing, whatever. So I go to Garden of the Gods, which is about 15 minutes from our house. Really cool place.
Is that a national park?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I should know that, but I wasn't sure.
Hey, no, it's all good. And I got there and I was like, well, I don't really see anything, and I don't know what to do right now. And then I started just driving, and I went to one spot that Danny and I went to one night, and there's nothing around. There's nothing. And then I drove past this like little rock cliff side, and I saw a horn like drop down.
Yeah.
And
As
then
you're talking, I'm like looking at the
yeah,
photo on my computer.
yeah, so I just pulled over and then went around the rock bend, and there were about 15 or 20 of them up there. And I was down on like the base of the hill shooting at them.
How far away would you say you are from this ram?
I'd probably say about half a football field's length.
Okay, 50 yards or so.
Yeah, about 50 yards, going like on a slant a little bit. But yeah, very cool hour and a half.
And are you posting photos anywhere? Like I don't know the answer to this, so I'm sorry if I'm stepping in a trap here. Do you have any, like, if somebody said I'd love to see Kenny Thompson's photos, is there a
If you want to see Kenny Thompson's photos of the bighorn sheep and Colorado wildlife, go to _Kenny Thompson _
.com?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Want to? No, you don't have to right now.
Not me, but people that are watching. _Kenny Thompson _.
Yeah.
Check it out. Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Yeah, my
THOM.
Instagram and my Facebook are where I post the most.
Okay.
I'm in the process of starting to formulate portfolios for websites and things like that. I applied to 2 internships, so just waiting to hear back from them in June. One's up in Denver with a portrait photography company, and then the other one is a long shot for Nikon.
You have a gift, man. These are awesome, and I'm not trying to toot my horn, but I sent you a message saying how much, when we talked, how much I like these, and I hope you keep at it. They look like they're out of National Geographic.
Thank you. I was that's what I said. You should send them to, but I was so ecstatic when he came home and said he got bighorn sheep because I've been taking him places out here trying to find some wildlife. And it's not the easiest thing to do sometimes, especially depending on the season,
Yeah.
So if it's in the summer when he came out, you're not going to find elk around because they're going to be up in the mountains.
Right.
Cool. The
That's
bighorns,
cool.
they come around in February in Garden of the Gods.
Okay.
I was so shocked that he was able to get them at the time he did because they're not usually in the area, but maybe with coronavirus,
social distancing.
Yeah, you're right. I've seen that on the news that animals in national parks have gotten a lot more.
Where he shot these, where he shot the bighorn sheep is actually not a spot where they usually go ever because there's a fence they kind of block off for the public.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Area where they stand because if you roll up on a bighorn sheep around a trail, there goes your feet.
They have about they're gonna kill you.
Yeah,
I would think. Yeah, it's dangerous. Yeah,
yeah.
They're great, Kenny. I hope you keep up with it and keep posting and let everybody see them. Dan, what are you up to? I mean, is there anything out there you'd like to, anything you're involved in or future plans?
Right now, I'm the vice president of my fraternity, Pi Kappa Phi. So right now, we've been dealing with like a lot of the situation of coronavirus and how do we recruit in the fall? How are we going to deal with this and with the school and stuff like that? But other than that, I know me and Kenny and my cousin are planning on going backpacking up in Estes Park, Rocky Mountain National Park. In about like June or July, probably like 4 or 5 days up there. So
that's great.
That's something we're looking forward to. And then come around the fall, I guess we have to see what some plans are because I'm not trying to play anything serious right now because the school said they might be doing.
I'm losing my screen.
Oh no!
Bighorns.
It's gone.
Bighorn's gone.
Shout out.
Hold on, I'm changing it.
No worries.
We're going back. That was fun.
There we go.
There we go. It's back to Mr. P and the dining room. So that'll be in the blooper reel.
That's funny.
That's cool.
Going online in the first 2 weeks, and so we'll kind of see. It's up in the air right now. But if fall comes around, everything life goes back to normal.
Yeah.
Planning on going home probably around August to visit family and friends and stuff. But kind of just going from there.
Yeah, that's great. All right. Well, look, listen, I really appreciate you guys doing this. I think students and school need to hear the perspective of some recent graduates and maybe some advice. And I think you guys really brought a lot to the table.
Yeah, so. I got one last thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, is there anything you can say whatever you want? I was going to say, if there's something you want to say to students or people home, now's your chance.
Yeah. I mean, amongst like the whole coronavirus thing, this is for pretty much anybody in high school. Like, don't stress, okay? Because if you're getting stressed out and you're like, I don't know what to do with my life, the one thing that kind of gives a positive outlook is that it's happening around the world. And that being said, there are some people that might be ahead of you. There might be some people that are behind you, but you are where you're supposed to be. Just keep a goal in mind and just keep figuring it out. Don't think that, I don't know.
Graduation is a ceremony. It's not a stamp of your future ability or achievement.
Yeah, don't let that affect where you go to college and stuff like that, because you're missing out so much. Coronavirus right now. I was saying to Kenny, I've said it a couple of times, we've talked about it. Maybe we needed something like this, and I'm not saying coronavirus. We needed a pandemic. I'm just saying maybe we needed time to reflect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard that.
We're forced to reflect. I think a lot of people, like you're saying, people are learning new instruments, new languages, but you have a lot of time to think about yourself. And what are you doing, and what can you fix, and because now it's taken away. Everything you want to do, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but now it's gone. You're not even allowed to do it. So it's like, all right.
I've said to my kids, I honestly hope that a situation like this never happens again. But when it's over, at some point, there's going to be a green light. It's okay to go back to school, to work, or the life more or less we were used to. I know things are going to change. But when that happens, when that green light happens and we go on with our lives, are you going to look back and say, I sort of lounged around and watched YouTube all day? Or are you going to say, hey, I learned a new instrument, I learned a new language?
Yeah, no, we talked about that last night. Like, what did we do? I guess we're in college. We're kind of just we're just getting by.
Your job as a student right now should be.
Yeah, exactly. But it's still tough. It's like, I want to do this, I want to do that. Like, how do I get there? I'm kind of done like messing around. I want to do the things I want, and that's like, beneficial for my life.
Yeah, that's
and
great advice.
You kind of drive yourself insane because you're like, all right, when is this quarantine going to end? And I mean, it's uncertain and everything, but it'll end.
I'm excited for what's going to happen.
Yeah.
The new industries that are going to pop up and how life is going to be changed.
Yeah.
Facebook, they just they announced that all their employees will be working from home till the end of the year.
Okay.
Calendar year. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Silver linings. I hear you.
Maybe someone might be working from home that works in 9 to 5, and they, once this is over, they ask to stay home because they're going to be with their kids, with their family, and they can do the job from home. So why not?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. No, you're right. All right, guys. Well,
one more thing.
I'm sorry, Kenny. It's your time. Go for it.
I know.
I wouldn't do this for a current student. You've earned it.
I know. Thank you. For younger high schoolers, if you want to do something or you think you might be interested, whatever, just do it. Like, try it out. 1 season is not going to kill you. 3 months is not going to kill you. And yeah, I think probably a big regret that I have is not really trying out other things. Because now, like, in this quarantine, like, I started drawing again, started painting, doing like a lot of stuff, and I was like, if only I just took the time and just did it.
Yeah. Because I think students are I hate to say it, but scared sometimes to put themselves out there.
Yeah.
I might be into drawing, but if I show other people this, what if they make fun of me? And that fear, keeps us all down.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, for me, driving 1,000 miles across country with no
with
certainty
3 weeks
of
notice.
the future, or what would happen, definitely a milestone that has made fear kind of just dissipate.
Yeah.
So get out there, just adventure, do your thing.
That's great.
If you want to do it, don't hold back.
If you feel uncomfortable about a situation, or something you might want to do, and you're like, I don't know if I can do this or not, just do it anyway, because if you're uncomfortable, that means you don't know. You don't know if you like it or not, and you don't know if you're going to enjoy it. So just do it. Then you learn more about yourself. Okay, I really don't like doing this. I don't like running track. I tried it out. I don't really like it. And then finish the season. And then
you're not going to know unless you try it.
Not going to know unless you try it. So just do it. That's all I learn.
Exactly.
Guys, this was fantastic.
I'm
so glad I got a chance to catch up with you, and I'm so glad people back in Pittman are going to get a chance to catch up with you.
Yeah.
And I could tell you've got, good heads on your shoulders. The hair, not so much, but that's fine. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of that. Maybe pay the electric bill when all this is over. Get those lights on.
Don't talk about the light.
I'm kidding.
We had a light fallout 2 nights ago. That was great.
Well,
You're college students. I think in the grand scheme of things, you seem like you're doing all right.
Hey, yeah.
But thank you so much for inviting us on.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, keep this going.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it, guys. I'm gonna stop the recording. Hang tight. I want to make sure I can get you this, but let me hit stop and we'll go from there. Okay, guys. Thanks for doing this. See ya.
Bye.